What's up everyone, AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust here with today's recap. I hope you had a great trading day. I should say that yesterday I was not able to record a recap video, but what I can tell you was that I finished the day off red 0.9R. So that put me at 7 days of seven consecutive red days. You know, I believe in the saying that sometimes you need to take one step backwards to take two steps forward, but when you're going through it, really it can be challenging to go through the grind and have to not put too much into the results and focus more on the process. Fortunately, over the last 7 red days, for the most part, I believe that what I've been doing or the rules I've put in place have helped me limit the amount of loss that I've had, which means that the process I'm going through it's working. So, but today is a new day, so let's talk about that. Here's today's watch list. I post this every morning between 9 and 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. If you want to make sure to catch that, go ahead and give me a follow at AJ Tabayan. So today I had BABA, which was a gapper. It had gapped up quite a bit. It had a pretty strong move up yesterday and continued. So it was gapping up today. And I also had CCL as a continuation play. It also has been pushing up quite a bit on high volume the last couple of days. So I was looking to see what it was going to do with today. And on the secondary list, I had NVIDIA, PLTR, and Oxy. All were gappers. I think NVIDIA and PLTR had gapped down while Oxy had gapped up, and Apple as a continuation play. So let's start with an overall recap, an overview of the day today. Today was a nice green day for me, which was a long time coming, I feel. And, when you look at these numbers up here, so one, I continued to stick to my rule of only 6 trades in a day. And, take the P&L aside, more importantly, the win rate here is 50%. And that is, as I've talked about, my goal on a much more consistent basis. Actually, overall, I really feel that a 50% average win rate, which means, with good trading, there should be days where I can accomplish a 60, 70, 80% win rate. But an average of 50% win rate is key to making the changes that I'm working on profitable. And then this is a great profit factor, 3.93, and that is because I believe that's because of something else that I've been kind of working on, even when I'm not trading, as I've kind of been compiling data in my head. So, and we'll talk about that, and that's ambush entries on my existing tradebook strategy. So anyways, first trade of the day was on BABA. So let's take a quick look at that. This was an opening range breakout. So you can see here that this was pre-market low, and BABA initially pushed up. As I mentioned, on the watch list, BABA had gapped up for the day. So just before the market opened, it was pushing down a bit. So it was below VWAP, which is right here. And so after pushing up, it failed to hold above VWAP, and it tested the opening price and nearly tested pre-market low. So after failing a second time here to push above VWAP and testing and pushing below the opening price, I was looking to go to get short at the break of the pre-market low. So I did that right there. And this, for the most part, immediately pushed in my direction. It did come and test my entry, but my stop loss was all the way up here. So, or yeah, so around this area, or actually it was just above the body of this candle here. Anyways, it never came close to testing that. Immediately hit my 2-hour profit target. So that was a solid way to start the day. And you know, the last 3 days, even though the last couple days have been red, I started the day off with a green trade. So I wanted to make sure that today, one, I didn't rush into anything else, and two, I wasn't trading scared, because I found that with, you know, the string of red days I'm having, I was kind of being defensive, I guess, in my trade book, and that just doesn't work. I need to trade each trade like it's an individual trade instead of you know, that aggressively protecting profits. So anyways, the next trade of the day was on CCL, so let's take a look at that. So CCL, let's take a look at the 5-minute charts. So it pushed up, as you can see here, at the open, but then aggressively pushed down. And this is the body of that opening candle, the bottom of the body of that opening candle. You can see that it started throwing these wicks right over here. Let me clear that out so you can see that. Those are the 3 wicks I just pointed at as it pushed against this level here. And I was watching for it to make a break, and you can see that it was kind of making a bit of a descending triangle here, pretty steep one. So you know, it pushed below, but I wanted to be sure because there was definitely some levels here. This is previous day close, and this is VPOC right here. So it pushed below, came all the way back up to test this level, and that's what I was looking for. And I went short. Now, this illustrates what I was talking about with regards to an ambush entry. So the ambush entry is, you know, basically designating what I would call a key level. And if it comes back to that level, now obviously you have to know beforehand if you're looking for it to either be a trend continuation at that level or a pullback or reversal from that level. In this case, I wanted it to continue the trend after it had pushed down. So when it came back and, you know, pushed above the 20 SMA and above this level that I was detailing, and it there was a bunch of ass here at the 2650 level, and so once it got got to that level, I was going to go short. So I did, with a stop loss above R1 over here. And you can see it never came back to test my stop loss. It immediately pushed right back in my direction. Now the mistake I made here is that sorry, I shouldn't say it's a mistake. It's the way that I manage my trades at this point, because I was a little unsure whether or not this could make a run back up, because it had already kind of, shown that it moved all the way up, came all the way back down. So when it moved in my direction, I had moved my stop loss to above these asks here at 2650. And unfortunately, it bounced off of VPOC and came all the way back up and stopped me out, I guess, to grab those asks before pushing all the way back down, where it would have hit my 2-hour profit target, which is right about here. So had I kept my stop loss maybe at even here at the top of the body of this candle here, it would have worked out. But it is what it is. I ended up taking a very small 0.15 or 0.2R loss on that trade. And that trade was taken at 10 a.m. So I was, again, I really wasn't looking to rush into any trades. The next trade was on NVIDIA, and it wasn't taken till 12:20, 12:19 actually, to be exact, which I was waiting for for the right setup. So here on the 5-minute chart, you can see here that NVIDIA pushed down, and it seemed to bounce off of, found support off this S6 level here. So it came back, and again, I was looking for potentially an ambush entry here, and what I was looking at was this level here, which seemed like a very strong level. And on the level 2, I know there were quite a few asks here at 209. So when it went to grab those asks, and you can see that this is right at right below VPOC. So I have this level, I have all these asks at at 209, which could hold the price, and I also have VWAP here. Well, I took an entry there. I took an entry there with a stop loss. I can't remember exactly where. I think it was about a 50-cent stop loss. So probably here 209.50 is where I had the stop loss. And you can see that I almost top wicked this entry, and it never came back. It didn't even push above VWAP. And I'm still a little new at these ambush entries. So I partialed here at 1R, and then I partialed here again. And this last part all out exit though was a mistake. I actually made this mistake yesterday also. So after these partials, I was manually entering a range order, and I wanted the range order to sit right just above S6 over here. And when I was, when I did the range order, I put the stop loss at break even, and I entered the range order was ideally for just above 207.45. So maybe around 207.50 is what I was looking at, because there was a decent number of bids there that I felt it was going to run to. But when I put the range order in, I was just clearly I just wasn't thinking. I had put the low of the range order at 208.50, and when you do that and then you press the buy, which is what you would be, because this is a short, it immediately exited me from the trade, which was a little frustrating. But I still managed a 1.73 R return on this. Had it gotten over here, it would have been probably a 2.2 R, 2.3 R return on that trade. But this more importantly, I'm using my same strategies, but with this ambush entry, I'm finding I'm getting a lot more leeway when it comes to where I can exit my trades, and I'm allowing it to, I'm finding that it's able to run a little bit more, much more easily hit my profit target. So that's really nice, and I want to continue to work on that. So that was NVIDIA, and then after that, my next 3 trades were on CCL. So that trade was taken at 12:20. The next trade wasn't taken till 2 p.m. Again, I was, just scanning the markets. Now, I will say that the other benefit today was that the market was definitely working in my favor. And when I say that, it was a trending market. So it was favorable to my trade book strategies. And on those days, I feel you need to, the saying is you need to make hay while the sun shines. And when you have those opportunities like that, you really do need to take advantage of them. With that said, I didn't want to go chasing. Obviously, as I'm taking these trades and the entire market is moving, I didn't want to be chasing a short unnecessarily. So I really wanted to be patient, and I was. So CCL here was trading in this range pretty much all day. So you can see it's this 26.55, 26.50 actually seemed to be the level there, and it just kept bouncing. It kept testing this level here, 26.20, 26.25. There was a bunch of a bunch of bids, and so I was watching it for a potential breakout, and it eventually did break that 26.20 level. So I went short. It immediately moved in my direction. I had my stop loss here at 26.29 or 26.30, I think. It made a new low of day, But at that point, it really should have ran. But unfortunately, it got held up here. Even though this wasn't 1R, I probably should have moved my stop loss, to break even, because I really felt that if it broke that level, it should have ran, and if it didn't, that it might come back on me. And to add to that, the market as a whole. So let's take a quick look here at the SPY. The market as a whole, you can see over here. This is the same time frame. Bounced off of this level here and started to push up quite a bit. And although CCL was not exactly trending with the whole market, because most of the market was trending down, CCL did sell off, but it was a little bit more range bound than some of the other tickers I was watching. But even though it definitely felt the pull of the market, so to speak, and it came back on me and ended up stopping me out. So let's go back to CCL. So yeah, this was my entry. I got stopped out over here. Now I was watching for a potential ambush entry, because I thought that even though it pushed up, that CCL could have a decent pullback or even continue to get stuck in this range. So this was probably a little questionable, and probably something I need to work on a little bit more with this ambush entry strategy, I guess you could say. So I was looking at it to take a position when it broke above this previous day close, and I was looking at 2640. But really, the true level here was right here, as I mentioned earlier, which was 2650, and that's where there was also a decent number of asks, but as it turns out, there was an iceberg there. So we'll talk about that in a second. But so I took this ambush entry here. The nice thing about this ambush entry, not only does it give it potential for a bit of a longer run, or at least an easier time getting my 2R profit target, it also allows me to be more aggressive with moving my stop loss, so that I can limit the total loss if it goes against me. And more times than not, actually, if it had pushed back below previous day close here, I would have moved the stop loss right to break even, because if it came back to push above this level here, I didn't want to, the nice thing about this is that these ambush entries are at key levels, so that if it breaks those levels, I don't really want to be in the trade anymore anyways, because it's negated the move that I thought it would make. So anyways, it came back on me. Because I'd moved my stop loss, it ended up being 0.6, 0.7, no, sorry, that was this one down here. This one only ended up being a 0.25 R loss. But I realized that 2640 probably wasn't the level, and I was really watching it at 2650. It tried to push above it a couple times, but there was definitely an iceberg, and that it tried to melt and get through all these asks that were jumping in at 2650. When it really stalled there through this doji right here, and just failed at this level, I put a stop loss, I think at 2656, entered here, which ended up being 2647, and it never came back and tested 2650. So as soon as this candle pushed below VWAP, my stop loss was right at 2650, because if it came back there, I no longer want to be in this trade. It quickly went in my direction, and I ended up getting these two partials here. Now, the overall return on this trade was 1.7R. It could have and should have been a 2R return at least, because I would have hit my 2R profit target. But again, I was unsure at that point, as we were going into the close, whether or not it was going to bounce off all these levels in here. You can see the 200 SMA here on the 5-minute, and there were definitely some levels on the 1-minute. But 1.7R, put me at 4.2R. So let's take a quick look at that. This was the P&L today. So I was 4.1R green for the day. So I'm really happy with that, especially since it's, I've had this string of red. But this is a lot more like where I expect my trading to be once I've fully ingrained, all the stuff that I'm working on right now. So I'm excited about that. So it's nice to see, even though it's a little challenging sometimes to have to go through the process, it's really rewarding to see when things do come together. Now, that's not to say that this is the way it's going to be ongoing. For all I know, I could struggle over the next little bit. I'm fine with that. I just need to make sure I continue to stick with my rules. So that is today's recap, and I'm happy with that. Hopefully you enjoyed all of that, and until tomorrow's recap, this is AJ on Day Trader Boomer Bust signing out. Cheers.